All right, so I want to make this video about, I mean, no disrespect, but I was thinking about how I have Goku on my wall and how I want to get a picture of like Terrence McKenna and put Terrence McKenna on my wall. The reason is because Terrence McKenna inspired the fuck out of me. So I just want to put Terrence on my wall. Goku inspired me as a kid, and even still to this day, like I used to just watch Dragon Ball and work out. Like 2 years ago, when I started working out, I would just watch Dragon Ball, and I would work out. And how Goku always is striving to get better. How like he loves like when some strong opponent comes in and tries to kill everybody because it gives him a chance to like test out his strength, see if he can get better and stronger. Um, and I have that same perspective where I like if problems happen, if whatever happens, I'd be sitting here like, bring it my way, like bring me more pain, bring me more struggle, because the struggle in the past made me a better version of myself. So I don't mind. I understand. So Goku's on my wall because sometimes I'll be working out and like if I want to stop working out, like if I'm tired, just look over and be like, oh yeah, little more, like a little more push-ups, a little more pull-ups, a little more, ghost punching, a little more, like just a little more. So why is it that so many people have Jesus on their wall? And I mean no disrespect, but like they'll have Jesus on their wall or Buddha on their wall, but they're nothing like Jesus or Buddha, like at all. People will pray to Jesus, but they're nothing like Jesus. And the main issue is the human ego. So let's say there's a group of religious people. They're all in the same religion, they all go to the same church. Everyone has a picture of Jesus on their wall. But let's say you get inspired by Jesus and you want to become a man like Jesus, then your friend group is going to talk shit about you and say, bro, who do you think you are, Jesus? And like they'll have this ego about it because they misunderstand as well. I feel like everyone misunderstands why the fuck we look up to people. We look up to people because they should be inspiring us. So we look up to Buddha because Buddha did something that inspired so many. We look up to Jesus and Jesus did like the same thing. So for me, I have Goku on my wall. And that's proof that it doesn't matter if the person's real or fake, as long as they inspire you to become a better version of you. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who's on your wall, as long as they're inspiring you. But there's so many people that have Jesus on their wall, and they look at it like, oh, I can only pray to Jesus. And, I'm just a human, I'm flawed. And they make up all these bullshit excuses of why they can't attempt to become a person like Jesus. And obviously, you will never be Jesus. Just like obviously, I will never be Goku. But I still have Goku on my wall. Why? Because it's an unattainable goal that'll keep me pushing until the day I die. It'll keep me growing until the day I die. Because it's unattainable. Because it's unreachable. So when the goal is unreachable, it just makes it so you have to keep working on that goal until you die. That's the way I look at it. So the way I have Jesus, I mean, the way I have Buddha, I mean, the way I have Goku on my wall is the way that people will have like Jesus or Buddha on their wall. Like Buddha, these people are real, but they're dead. So therefore, they're not real anymore. So with Jesus, right, you have a lot of people that have different opinions of Jesus. So, I mean, no disrespect, but I follow the Muslim belief of Jesus. Some people follow the Christian belief of Jesus, and the Christian belief of Jesus is more unattainable. So there's things Jesus did that you could never do. You'll never be able to walk on water. You'll never be able to rise from the dead. You'll never be able to like do those things. So those are not the parts of Jesus you should be trying to imitate. It's the parts of Jesus that you can. Just like I'll never be Goku. I'll never go Super Saiyan no matter how much in shape I get. But I have gone through my own transformation. Just like Goku can go Super Saiyan or go Ultra Instinct or all these different forms that he has, these transformations he has that turn him into a different version of himself. I did the same thing, but in real life. Real life meaning 2 years ago, if you look at a video of me 2 years ago, if you look at a picture of me 2 years ago, if you look at me and listen to me 2 years ago, I'm a completely different person today than I was 2 years ago. I'm still me. I just had my own transformation. In the modern world, people call it a glow up, but I call it obvious. I was looking up to Goku and I transformed like Goku. I can never go Super Saiyan, but I can go from what I was to what I am now. That's what I mean. You'll never be Jesus, but you can at least work on attempting to become a spiritual person, to become someone who doesn't judge others, to become someone who all these take the best traits from Buddha, the best traits from Jesus, the best traits from whatever, and you can attempt to apply them to yourself. I was inspired by Terence McKenna, so then 10 years later, now I'm a, I don't know, a philosopher, a speaker, whatever I am, but I'm only that because I was inspired by Terence. I only make these videos. Like, the reason why I speak the way I speak and why I worked on finding ways to speak better and to think better is because I was listening to Terence McKenna. When I was listening to Terence for the first time, I was some thug type dude, still like saying the N word all the time and still whatever. But I got inspired by Terence McKenna and worked on myself. So there's this saying, it's more applied when people that hate you. But there's this thing where people will say, people will hate you and then talk shit about you and hate on you and laugh at you until you get your results. Once you get your results, people will start imitating you. And how imitation is the highest sense of flattery or something like that. So remove the hater part and understand that this applies to all human beings on the planet, everywhere. If Why do all the British people talk similar? Why do they all have a British accent? Because the people around them influenced them and they started imitating the people around them. So humans do this in general, but we're not conscious of it. Once you become conscious of it, you can choose who you're getting inspired by. You can choose who you're imitating because you might not realize it or not, but you're already imitating people. There's people that will, I don't know, there's people that get inspired by somebody and then they never mention their name. That's like me getting inspired by Terence McKenna, but then someone says to me, "Oh, you're like Terence McKenna." And I would be like, "Oh, who's Terence McKenna?" A lot of people do that because their ego's in the way because they want to be the one that, and it's like, bro, you imitated everything. Everything you do was an imitation of some other human. Everything. You were raised by humans and then you started imitating those humans. You started speaking the same language that they speak. You started pronouncing the words the same way that they pronounce the words. You started, because this happened to me when I was a kid. And I was like, "Oh, I'm black." So I started imitating other black people because like I had no guidance in my life as a child, no male role models, no male person in my life. So the only men that were in my life were like these gangster thug dudes and I'd look up to them because oh, I have the same skin tone as them, and then I started talking like them and acting like them and walking like them, and so then I become some thug type dude saying the N word all the time. It was when I became conscious, or I wasn't even conscious of this yet. I was just inspired. I was literally just some thug dude, had no idea, like I was just lost, because that's what I thought I was. And then I heard Terence McKenna. and I've seen another example of what a man can be. Because at that point in my life, I wanted to start doing DMT, I wanted to start doing psychedelics, but I was having trouble finding DMT. So I just had a year of listening to Terrence McKenna, like for a year straight, before I even tried DMT. So that whole year of me listening to Terrence, I was I realized that it doesn't matter what skin tone I am, because it made me think about what is a man, right? If I ask 10 men what a man is, they will give me an example of the person that they looked up to, whether they realize it or not. They're going to say, well, a man is, and then they're going to have an envisionment of a man, but that envisionment is based off of their environment of their life, of the people that influence them. So, or it's the person that influenced you that's not in your environment. Because you can have all this stuff in your environment and you can get an idea of what you don't want to be. Where it's like maybe you were raised by a bunch of horrible people and you don't want to be anything like them. But if you don't become conscious, or if you don't pick someone to be inspired by, you're going to be like the people you were raised by, whether you want to be or not. How many people will grow up and say, I don't want to be anything like my father, but then they grow up to become a man that's very similar to their father? It's because they never made a decision to look up to somebody different. They never gained. You need a role model. You need something, or at least men do, or you're gonna be stuck wherever you are, whoever you are. But this is where it's being a human is interesting, because you can change yourself if you want, or you're going to change yourself whether you're aware of it or not. If you get a new set of friends, you're going to start acting like that new set of friends if you're not conscious, because you start imitating the people that you're around. So that's why it's like I have Goku on my wall. That's why I'm going to get Terrence McKenna and put Terrence on my wall, because these are the people that inspired me, and it doesn't matter if the person's real or not. Goku is not real, but I actually think it's better to have a real human you look up to and someone who is either dead or an anime character. Because when you have where someone's dead, or if they're a spiritual figure like Jesus and there's things Jesus did that no normal human can do, then you get inspired and you start working on yourself and changing the things that you can change that humans can do. Because we could all become more compassionate towards each other. We can all become less judgmental towards each other. We can attain those things. You can be the most judgmental human on the planet who judges everybody. But if you start looking up to people who don't judge people, you're gonna stop judging, or because you're gonna start thinking about, maybe you shouldn't judge people because those people over there don't judge people. If the person you look up to doesn't talk shit about other people, you're gonna start feeling weird when you talk shit about other people, because you're gonna be like, oh, that's not what that person does. The people I look up to, if like that's why what I'm trying to say is, we forgot why the fuck we put people on our wall. We forgot. So if you have Jesus on your wall or Buddha on your wall, but you're nothing like Buddha, then what the fuck is Buddha being on the wall for? So you can impress your hippie friends when they come over? Like, that's what I mean. It's like, why is Jesus on the wall? So you can say you're a Christian, so you can say like this, that it's all just an ego trip. People will claim a religion just for the ego purposes of saying, oh, I know the truth now, and this is the truth, and this is whatever, and this is the person I pray to. But the person you pray to would have never spoke like that to somebody else. The person you pray to wouldn't think the way you think, or wouldn't judge someone just because they have a different belief or a different whatever. Like, that's what I mean. That if we're going to look up to people, we should start imitating the people we look up to. And if you are nothing like the person you look up to, then you have work to do. Because if the person you look up to could stand in the room with you and look at you and talk to you, don't you think it would make them feel better if you worked on yourself? If you are someone who judges someone else and you claim to be a Christian or a Muslim or a Jewish or whatever you pray to, if whatever you pray to could stand in front of you, like, I guess what I'm saying is, bro, if I was religious, I would focus on trying to make Jesus proud of me. I would focus on, like, because I do this now when I'm not religious. I practice modern day shamanism. But, like, I'm trying to live a life where I know God could be proud of me. It doesn't matter. I don't know, bro. Like, I want to be proud of me, but I want my idols to be proud of me. I want God to be proud of me. That's what I'm searching for. That's why I'm becoming a better version of me. It's not because, like, oh, I got in shape and now I look better. I don't give a fuck about how I look, bro. Like, I'm trying to inspire my creator. I'm trying to inspire Goku, even though Goku is not real. I'm trying to make them. If Goku was real, he'd be like, hey, fuck yeah, bro. Like, all I know is it doesn't matter who you look up to. It's that we should be working on ourselves. If you look up to a bodybuilder and you're not in shape, then why do you look up to them? If you look up to and it's not about being in shape, it's about attempting. Because I know I'll never be Goku, but it's about attempting. I know I'll never be, like, even though I'm not Christian, Jesus inspires me. Even though I'm not a Buddhist, Buddha inspires me. Terence McKenna inspires me. These spiritual people, philosophers, and these people inspire me. So that I'm working on myself and saying, well, I like that about Terence McKenna. I like that about Goku. I like that about Buddha. I like that trait about Jesus. I like that trait about that business person. I like that trait. So then I'm able to apply the traits that I like to myself. And I'm able to work on myself. So I just know that this is what we can do. And it's okay, like, we're supposed to have idols. We're supposed to look up to people, but our ego gets in the way because our ego feels less powerful if you say you look up to somebody. But you'll get more powerful if you actually look up to people that are better than you. If you look up, like, if you look at someone and they are better than you and you get inspired, you can become a better version of you. But if you look at someone who's better than you and you get jealous or mad or irritated or bothered that they're better than you, then you'll never become better yourself. So I just think it's about working on ourselves. And I think that's the whole point of why Jesus is supposed to be on the wall in the first place, to remind us what we should be striving for. So, I don't know. Just a thought.